Chapter 1. Good is the enemy of great. Good is the enemy of great. And that is one of the key reasons why we have so little that becomes great. We don't have great schools, principally because we have good schools. We don't have great government, principally because we have good government, and it works pretty well. The vast majority of companies never become great precisely because the vast majority become quite good. And therein lies their main problem. And the truth be told, the vast majority of people will look back from the end of their lives and realize that they did not have a great life, in large part because it is just so easy to settle for a good one. This became piercingly clear to me in 1996 when I was having dinner with a group of thought leaders gathered for a discussion about organizational performance. Bill Meehan, the managing director of the San Francisco office of McKinsey & Company, leaned over his salad and casually confided, "You know, Jim, we love your book, Built to Last, around here. You and your co-author did a very fine job on the research and writing. Unfortunately, it's useless." Curious, I asked Meehan to explain his useless comment. "The companies you wrote about were, for the most part, always great," he said. "They never had to turn themselves from good companies into great companies. They had parents like David Packard and George Merck who shaped the character of greatness from early on. They instilled the genetics. But what about the vast majority of companies that wake up partway through life and realize they're good, but not great?" I realized that Meehan was exaggerating for effect with his useless comment, but his essential observation was correct and disturbing. That truly great companies, for the most part, have always been great. Great is great, good is good, and never the twain shall meet. Or at least it seems that way. The vast majority of good companies remain just that, good but not great. Indeed, Meehan's comment proved to be an invaluable gift to me, as it planted the seed of a question that became the basis of this entire project. Namely, can a good company become a great company? And if so, how? Or, on the other hand, is the disease of just being good incurable? If you're only average, are you doomed to remain average? 5 years after that fateful dinner, we can now say without question that good to great does happen. And we've learned much about the underlying variables that make it happen. Inspired by Bill Meehan's challenge, my research team and I embarked on a 5-year research effort, a journey to explore the inner workings of good to great. To quickly grasp the concept of the project, picture in your mind a stock chart that is absolutely flat, going nowhere until, bang, it just explodes upward at a steeper than 45-degree angle. In essence, we identified companies that made the leap from good results to great results and sustained those results for at least 15 years. We compared these companies to a carefully selected control group of comparison companies that failed to make the leap, or if they did, they failed to sustain it. We then compared the two sets of companies to discover the essential and distinguishing factors that make for good to great. The good to great examples that made the final cut into the study attained extraordinary results, averaging cumulative stock returns 6.9 times the general market in 15 years following their transition points. Now, to put that in perspective, General Electric, considered by many to be the best-led company in America at the end of the 20th century, outperformed the market by 2.8 times over the 15 years 1985 to 2000, less than half the rate of performance of the good to great set. Furthermore, if you invested $1 in a mutual fund of the good to great companies in 1965, holding each company at the general market rate until the date of transition, and you simultaneously put $1 in a general market stock fund, your $1 in the good to great fund taken out on January 1, 2000 would have multiplied 471 times. Every dollar would have given you $471 back, compared to only a 56-fold increase in the general market. These are remarkable numbers by any measure, made all the more remarkable when you consider the fact that they came from companies that had previously been so utterly unremarkable. Consider just one case, one of my favorite from the study, Walgreens. For over 40 years, Walgreens was the walking embodiment of mediocrity. It had bumped along as a very average company, more or less tracking the general market. Then in 1975, seemingly out of nowhere, bang! Walgreens began to climb, and climb, and climb, and climb, and climb, and it just kept right on climbing. From December 31, 1975 to January 1, 2000, $1 invested in Walgreens beat $1 invested in technology superstar Intel by nearly 2 times, General Electric by nearly 5 times, Coca-Cola by nearly 8 times, and the general stock market, including the NASDAQ stock run-up to the end of 1999, by over 15 times. You gotta want to know how they did that. How on earth did a company with such a long history of being nothing special transform itself into an enterprise that outperforms some of the best-led organizations in the world? Not by a little bit, but by multiples. And why was Walgreens able to make the leap when other companies in the same industry with the same opportunities and similar resources at the exact same time, such as Eckerd, did not make the leap? This single case captures the essence of our quest. But I want to be clear. Good to Great is not about Walgreens per se, or any of the specific companies we studied. It is about the question. Can a good company become a great company? And if so, how? Good to Great is about our search for timeless, universal answers that can be applied by any organization. Our 5-year quest yielded many insights, a number of them surprising and quite contrary to conventional wisdom. And indeed, I would say a number of them are going to upset and bother not a small number of people. But one giant conclusion stands above the others. We believe that almost any organization can substantially improve its stature and performance, perhaps even become great, if it conscientiously applies the framework of ideas we've uncovered. In the rest of this chapter, I will tell you the story of our journey, outlining our research method, and I will preview our key findings. Then in the next chapter, we'll launch headlong into the findings themselves, beginning with one of the most provocative of the entire study, a concept that we call Level 5 leadership.